The Upside Down. From up until season 4, it was literally a mystery. But then after the events of season 4, we discovered it as a world that is frozen in the year 1983. But what if the Upside Down is quite literally the days of future past? A glimpse of what Hawkins could become if Vecna wins. What's going on, nerds, and welcome back to the channel. The idea of time manipulation has come up a lot recently when it comes to Stranger Things, and for good reason too. There seem to be many angles that point to it happening. Many of you have pointed out that it isn't going to happen, that it would ruin the show, and that I'm dead wrong. And you know what? You might be right. I didn't write the screenplay, and I haven't seen the script. However, there are signs that have pointed to the element of time hinting as a reoccurring theme. So today we're going to go through those, as well as discuss the theory of what is happening in Hawkins now for season 5 and what the crew's fate could be. This channel is your source for all things Stranger Things as we get closer and closer to the premiere of season 5. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed to get the latest on the upcoming season. Okay, so to fully understand this concept, you guys, we've got to take things back. Let's rewind things all the way back to where it first began, back in season 1. In chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers, Will sees a shadowy figure in the road along with a clock chime if you listen closely. Fans have freeze-framed that shot for years, and when you compare it now, the silhouette looks eerily similar to Vecna himself. So if that's really him, it means that Vecna has been present since the beginning, watching events unfold, possibly even causing them, manipulating the past, present, and the future of Hawkins all at once. And as I mentioned, around roughly the same moment, you will also notice a clock chime. If the grandfather clock chime is indeed Vecna's motif, this could mean Vecna, or his influence, was present once again from the very beginning if this was all intentional. That pushes the idea of time not just bending later, but being woven into the show's fabric early on. Then, of course, following that, whenever Will disappeared, Joyce is dismissed as having a mental breakdown when she insists that Will is communicating with her through the house lights or Christmas lights which flicker erratically. This is one of her first signs that the laws of reality are not working normally. This strange electrical communication is a side effect of the Upside Down's interference, where Will is just outside of time. Then, in season 2, they took things even further. Will could see events from the Upside Down in real time, almost like both timelines were like kind of overlapping, if you will, right? Then later on in season 3, Billy's wild ride. Now Billy, he began as a host, and when it does happen initially, a clock-like chime can be heard when the possession begins. This reinforces the idea that the sound clock isn't just a new thing in season 4, but part of the reoccurring atmospheric cues. If those chimes are tied to gate moments or reality fractures, maybe they signal when the moment of time just becomes unstable. And oh yeah, don't forget about Back to the Future in season 3, literally as Robin and Steve were watching a screening of the movie in the Starcourt Mall. And while this is mostly paying homage, in a theory video, this lets you say, the writers are familiar with time and travel tropes, and they've been planting time travel references indirectly. It increases plausibility without needing them to say time travel outright. Nice little trick. The phrase time unraveling really sticks out. Back in season 4, when Nancy and the others entered the Upside Down, she literally said, "It's like time stopped."
We're in the past.
That wasn't just a metaphor. The Upside Down was revealed to be frozen on the exact date in 1983 when Will was taken. So, the Upside Down might not be just another dimension, it might be a temporal echo of Hawkins, a copy of the world locked in time. Everything from her room to the calendar on the wall was frozen on the night Will disappeared in 1983. So while the real world kept moving forward, the Upside Down stayed locked in a single moment. That alone suggests a broken timeline, almost like the world itself hit pause. Alright nerds, it's time to lock in. It's time to get nerdy here, so let's go ahead and play the part. Okay, so we're gonna get into the science behind this a little bit without making your brain melt, of course. 11's powers, they're all about perception, memory, and space. When she enters the void, she's not just seeing through walls, she's peering through different points in time. Quantum theory, now stay with me here guys, talks about something called space-time superposition. It means two moments in time can overlap when the barrier between them breaks down. So that synopsis from my previous video that we talked about regarding season 5 saying cracks splitting the town and time itself unraveling, that could be describing exactly that. Vecna might be exploiting those cracks, manipulating time to trap people in loops of their worst memories. While 11's power is rooted in empathy and connection, Vecna's power could come from distortion, bending time itself. Now with the Upside Down merging into the real world after the season 4 finale, maybe time is beginning to bleed together, unfreezing that moment and shattering the continuum completely. If those boundaries collapse, time could start folding in on itself. Could that mean Dimension X, the mysterious third realm that the Duffers have teased, finally comes into play? Only time will tell. And here's something else we can't ignore. Back in season 3, we saw constant magnetic interference all over Hawkins. Joyce noticed magnets falling off of her fridge in the shop. She told Hopper that something was off with the town's electromagnetic field. That kind of disruption is more than just electricity, it's space-time distortion. And in quantum physics, changes in electromagnetic energy can warp how time behaves. So Hawkins' broken magnetism could have been one of the earliest signs that reality itself was destabilizing long before Vecna revealed himself. The next point I want to touch on, the idea came from a viewer, Black Ravenholm, so shout out to you and thanks again for the awesome comment on my previous video. Remember that moment with Hopper's letter? I believe it was the end of season 3? How could we forget it? Of course, it was probably one of the sweetest moments in the entire series. Anyways, in that letter, he says,
So I think but I know that's naive. It's just not how life works.
that wasn't just emotional closure, it was thematic foreshadowing. Hopper represents time moving forward, but if season 5 is about time unraveling, his belief is about to be tested. If the Upside Down is indeed truly frozen in the past, then Hopper's wish might not stay a metaphor. He could literally face what happens when time refuses to move forward. Alright, now let's talk about Vecna. Vecna's power revolves around memories. Vecna's victims relive their trauma again and again and again before they die. They see the grandfather clock, a warning, but also a signal, and then again, that grandfather clock, guys. That clock is one of the most important symbols in Stranger Things. It always appears before Vecna's victims are taken. But what if it's more than just a warning? Each chime could represent time being distorted, not just for the victim, but for Hawkins itself. And remember, he needed 4 chimes before all of the gates were connected for 4 victims: Chrissy Cunningham, Fred Benson, Patrick McKinney, and Max Mayfield, of course, prior to her being revived. And each death, it creates another tear in time, That could explain why the cracks and gates in Hawkins continued to grow and spread. Now again, what's crazy about this is that sound was there long before Vecna even showed up. As we mentioned before about Billy getting possessed, back in season 3, he heard that eerie clock chime as well. This was a full season before we even knew what the heck it meant. That wasn't random. That was Vecna already reaching through the timeline, marking his territory. But additionally, what if it also marks a fixed point in time? That clock might be the nexus point, the exact moment when the barrier between dimensions and time breaks. Every time Vecna kills, he's not just creating a gate, he's basically stamping a moment in time. And that's why the Upside Down remains locked on that date. It's a world caught in Vecna's loop, a literal time trap. He uses his victims' worst fears, their trauma, to control and torment them. But what if that ability to manipulate memories gives him a way to manipulate time? What if he's able to trap his victims in loops of their own past, alternate versions of what already happened, essentially creating pockets, timelines built from trauma? If that's the case, that might explain Max. Remember, as we know, Max is still trapped in a coma, as far as we understand. What if Vecna has her imprisoned inside of her own memories, somewhere between timelines, reliving her worst fears over and over again? So maybe the Upside Down isn't a separate dimension at all. Maybe it's the future Hawkins, a burned out version of what happens if Vecna wins. That's why it's stuck in the moment he first created it. It's a time echo, the literal consequences of the future leaking into the past. If that's true, then 11 is the only one who can stop it. Her powers connect through consciousness, which means that she can already tap into people's memories. So if Vecna can use memory to bend time, then 11 can use it to reverse time. Their final battle might not just be physical, it could happen within time itself. A fight across timelines, memories, and alternate versions of Hawkins. Whew, sounds pretty epic, right? So let's put this all together. Hopper's letter, 11's powers, Will's visions, Nancy saying, "We're in the past." They're all connected. Time in Hawkins has been fractured for years, and season 5 may not be about destroying the Upside Down. It might be about fixing time itself. The true battle might not just be 11 versus Vecna. It could be balance versus collapse. And if time collapses, so does reality. So yeah, if you thought Stranger Things was all about monsters and parallel worlds, buckle up, because season 5 could prove that Hawkins isn't haunted by the Upside Down, it's haunted by its own past. Now of course guys, just a reminder, this is just a theory. I don't have any proof on this theory, and I could be absolutely wrong, and it's probably 99% wrong. But that 1% that this theory is somewhat right, that's the fun of it all. Half of the excitement is figuring this out together with you, the wrap-up squad, as we get closer and closer to the big premiere. So what do you guys think? Has time travel already happened in Stranger Things, or are we about to watch it unfold? I want to hear your thoughts, so drop your theories down in the comments below. Guys, we're less than 50 days away. The hype train is officially boarding right now. Your ticket to subscribe is waiting to board this train, and the best part, it's free. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, and to generate even more hype for this video, do me a huge solid right now, just smash that hype button and the like button together if you really enjoyed it. It truly helps its reach during the first few days and gives a nice boost as I am striving to hit my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. This is only the beginning. October is here, and we've got a lot more to talk about as we head toward the premiere, so keep it locked on the channel with your bell notification set to all. Until the next one, nerds, I'm your host with the most A to the P, Albert Perkins, and we will see you in the next video. Until then, and as always, peace!
Subscribe now.